Today, I'm going to be reviewing 90 Day Fiance.
The process of bringing someone over on the K-1 visa, it's not cheap. I probably have 15 or 20,000 invested.
My first message to her was, "You look like my future wife." I guess just traveling and enjoying life, I got a little too carefree because then Yara got pregnant. I thought she was trying to trap me. I thought this is her ticket to America.
How can I say I love you? We had so much fights, but I have to keep your ring.
Everybody wants to know what a real immigration lawyer like me thinks about the most popular reality show that focuses on immigration. I'm an immigration lawyer. My name is Josh Goldstein, and I've been practicing immigration law for many years. I prepared countless marriage-based green card cases and fiance cases. K-1 visas are my specialty, and I actually help people whose K-1 visas are delayed. The question is, what's going on with 90 Day Fiance? How realistic is this show? How much is fiction or manipulation, and how much really is the experience that couples who are going through the fiance visa process have to deal with? Before I do have a confession to make. I've never actually watched this show. Let's jump in.
I not believe I'm here. I take a green card and stay here. Joke. The 90 days is going to mean everything to me.
Okay, right off the bat, the woman says 90 days means everything to me. The central premise of 90 Day Fiance is that there's some dramatic tension about the 90 days where the couple is making a decision about whether they should get married. This is complete nonsense. You should only begin the fiance visa petition process if you are absolutely 100% certain that you're going to get married. If you have any doubt about whether your visa relationship is gonna result in a marriage, if you're like, well, maybe we'll see what happens within the 90 days, forget it. Because 90 days, first of all, it's not very much time. So you're really not gonna evaluate whether or not you're gonna be able to get married within 3 months. That's absurd. And secondly, the process of applying for someone through the fiance visa application system is extremely onerous. It takes a long time, it costs money, there's applications with all sorts of supporting documents. This is not something that you should do just because you're thinking that maybe you might get married. You should only do this if you are absolutely 100% dead set on getting married.
Julia lives in Krasnodar City, Russia.
Hi, love. How are you today?
Julia loves a challenge and she's competitive. She's done pageants and bodybuilding competitions, but her favorite thing to do is dance. My first message to her was, "You look like my future wife." We were on the phone every second we possibly could be. After a few weeks, I flew over there to ask her to be my girlfriend. After that, we applied for a visitor's visa for Julia to come visit me in the US. But Julia was denied the visa because she told the consulate that I was her boyfriend, and they told her she had to get a K-1 visa. I couldn't stand the thought of being without her, so after only 5 months and one meetup, I invited her to come to Iceland, and that's where I proposed to her. We planned a trip to France, where both of our families could meet. We came home and just finished out the waiting time for a K-1 visa. 6 months later, she was approved.
There's a couple things interesting that I think you should know about here. First of all, the American guy, I've forgotten his name, he says that they spoke every day on video chat. That's a really important thing to do for a few reasons. In order to get the case approved, you're going to have to show that your relationship is genuine and not solely made for immigration purposes. So how do you prove your relationship is genuine? Well, one thing you can do is you can provide records to show how frequently you communicate. The second thing that I want to talk about when it comes to Julia and her fiance is he says that she applied for a visitor visa, and the application for a visitor visa was denied because she said she had an American boyfriend. So why would that be the case? Well, what's going on there is this. If you need to visit the United States, you can apply for a visitor visa. But the only way that you can actually get the visa to visit the United States is if you can prove that you plan to return to your home country at the end of your visit. Well, if you have a U.S. citizen significant other, it creates the impression, at least in the eyes of the consulate, that maybe you might actually stay in the United States. Because if you have a significant other who's American, you could get married and then you could apply for a green card, and visitors are not allowed to do that. You need a different visa if you want to apply for a green card through marriage. Another important point about Julia is that there was a proposal. He gets down on one knee in Iceland and asks her to marry him, and they have a traditional kind of marriage proposal. And that's very important because in order to get the K-1 visa approved, you need to do two things. You have to prove that you truly do intend to get married. And here we have an offer of marriage and an acceptance. This is very sweet. This couple plans to get married, so that met the requirement for the fiancé visa. You also have to prove that you've met in person in real life within 2 years of when you file the fiancé petition. He's been to Russia, and then they met up in Iceland. They've met twice, so they fulfilled that requirement as well. Another important point about Julia, the American's family, and Julia's family went on a holiday together in France. So the two families have met each other, and that is incredibly powerful proof that this couple has a genuine relationship. Very few, if any, of my own clients have proof like that. That is powerful stuff. That would definitely be very persuasive for an immigration case like this. It's not unusual for Americans to be in an international dating situation. People meet each other through apps. And a lot of times they meet each other and they're not located next to each other. I actually met my wife through Match.com. So far, everything's great. We have 2 beautiful kids and we've been married for years, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think there was a stigma at one point saying, oh, well, you know, I never imagined I'd meet someone in a foreign country. Now, this is very commonplace.
My name is Jovi. I'm 29 years old and I live in New Orleans, Louisiana. I've been to about 25 countries just for work. I work 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off. So with my time off, I would just basically pick a country to go to and go spend my 4 weeks there. Growing up, I always dreamed of exploring. So it's been great. A lot of times I would go alone. So I downloaded the travel app to start to meet people. And one day I met a girl named Yara. She's 25 years old from Kiev, Ukraine. I guess just traveling and enjoying life, I got a little too carefree because then Yara got pregnant. I thought she was trying to trap me. I thought this is her ticket to America. But after the shock wore off, it actually pulled us pretty close together. We were 6 months into our relationship. We loved each other. We went to Cuba and I proposed to her under the water and she said yes. At that point, we decided to apply for the K-1 visa. We have waited for a long time, and Yara's visa is finally approved, so she will be here in a few days.
He mentions that they traveled together. They went to Cuba and Budapest and here and there. Again, this evidence that they have traveled together, that they've met each other, that they've spent time together. That would be very helpful in documenting an immigration case like this. The other thing that he mentions is that Yara had gotten pregnant, and unfortunately for this couple, she lost the child. And that was sad news for them. But on the other hand, just the fact that they have gotten pregnant, I think even introducing that in the case as evidence would be significant because it shows this is a very important relationship. This is a couple that got pregnant together. This is serious. And I think that that's something that I would bring to the attention of immigration officers.
I would like to think my mom has a very good opinion of Yara, but maybe she hinders that opinion to me a little bit. I'm not sure. What have you heard before about Ukraine and Ukrainian women?
I Googled it. I mean, I did. I needed to figure
and what'd
this
you read?
out.
Probably nothing good.
No, nothing good. Just Ukrainian women only want to make it to the United States.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming here for a better life and leaving whoever got them here, basically.
Right. And I think that's one of my biggest concerns. I don't want her to just use you to get here to America.
Yeah.
This conversation here, I think, resonates with a lot of the cases that I've worked on. The consulates are going to be skeptical of any relationship where they think the foreign national is just taking the American for a ride. If they think that she's just in it to get a green card, then they could deny the case. And I've had clients, American clients, where the petitioner is just heartbroken because they wanted to bring their loved one over to the U.S., but the consulate was just too skeptical of it. He's based on hunting and fishing. He grew up in a rural part of America, and his fiance seems like a very urbane woman, and so there's a big kind of a culture clash there. But hopefully they can get approved by showing that their relationship truly is genuine.
I'm covered in ink, and today's tattoo is really special because it's in honor of my 27-year-old fiance.
I love you so much. My big love in my life, Rebecca.
I call him my Arabic prince. He's very romantic. He lives in Tunis, Tunisia, and he is the love of my life. Ziad and I are 22 years apart in age.
For Rebecca and Ziad, there's an age gap. She is 49 years old, and he is only 27 years old. That could be a significant problem in terms of getting this visa approved. In my office, we screen for age gaps. We ask new prospective clients whether there's an age gap of 10 years or more. If the woman, U.S. citizen petitioner, is significantly older than the man, that is harder to get approved. Now, I am not here to judge. I think everybody should be able to be with the one that they love and the person that they care about most, regardless of age. I'm older than my wife. I am not judging anyone. I'm merely pointing out that, in my professional opinion, based on my experience with other similar cases, the consulates are often skeptical of these relationships, and they think that the foreign national, the younger guy, is just taking the woman for a ride and just in it for the green card. This is what they think. No judgment.
In the beginning, I was scared that obviously I'm too old for him, and I did basically anything that would kind of enhance the way that I looked. Creative picture taking and angles. The filter pictures, yeah, some of them were not, maybe not exactly the way that I look.
Ooh, looks like Rebecca has used some filters and some creative angled shots to misrepresent herself and her appearance a little bit. A dangerous strategy for online dating.
Before my 3 weeks were up in Tunisia, he took me out to the middle of the Sahara Desert and completely changed my life.
See, this is for you. You want my evening? Yes. It's me.
As soon as I got back from Tunisia, I began the long legal process of bringing Ziad to America.
This is a really touching scene. We see Rebecca crying. Ziad has proposed marriage to her, and it's heartwarming. And one thing that I want to talk about here is that he gives her a ring. And a lot of times that can be proof that the marriage relationship is genuine. So one thing that I like to do is include receipts showing that there was an engagement ring that was purchased, but it's certainly not necessary. There are a lot of ways to show that the marriage relationship or the fiancé relationship is genuine, and it's really not necessary for you to buy an expensive ring or to have any ring at all. I think it's just important that this is one technique that you can use to show that the relationship is genuine.
Do you think that they maybe not like the fact that I do this before? And this caused us problems?
Yeah. Maybe.
Ziad is not my first relationship with a man from an Arabic country. After my second marriage and divorce, I found a 20-year-old Moroccan man online. He was very charming, very romantic at the time. I got swept up. I ended up actually marrying him in Morocco and then bringing him home on the spousal visa. I realized that he was only with me for a green card, and I left him. But the fact that I've done this before with an Arabic man who was also half my age has caused a lot of issues with my relationship with Ziad, and I worry how it may impact his visa interview.
Here we learn that Rebecca had previously gotten married and previously married a much younger Moroccan guy, and brought him to the US. And I understand that the marriage didn't work out because she found out that he was only in it for the green card. This is going to be an eligibility concern. It's going to raise questions about, at least in the eyes of the immigration authorities, it could raise questions about whether Rebecca's subsequent marriage relationship is genuine. In my office, whether someone has filed multiple immigration applications, that's something that we ask in intake questionnaires to evaluate the merits of a case.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Fine.
Meeting Ziad's family in Tunisia was so stressful. But my dinner with Ziad's sister, William, was by far the most uncomfortable.
William asked you how much money at the end of your life.
How much? 3 times.
How much time you still with your ex? Before your ex?
Before your ex.
Yeah.
I promise I'll take care of him.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, it's good to see you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Here, we learn that there is some tension between Rebecca and Ziad's sister. And I have to say that this resonates with many of the cases that I've prepared. A lot of times I'm dealing with interracial couples or couples that are from different religions or different cultures. And a lot of times the parents on one side or the other are not totally supportive of the relationship. That's just the way life is, I think. This is what happens. Sometimes your parents are more supportive than others. I work with a lot of couples that are in same-sex relationships. There's homophobia and bigotry and discrimination that comes from families. It's just something that I think a lot of couples struggle with. It's not unusual.
My name's Mike. I'm from Sequim, Washington. People call me Big Mike. Want some cherries? Yeah. I'm 6'7". I'm full of energy. I'm always happy. I mean, this is my #1 girl right here, Aria, my little furry friend. I got a good job. I got a house. Got cars. One thing is, I don't have a family. I got no one to share it with. And then I met Natalie. Natalie is from Ukraine. There were so many things that felt right. And I thought it'd be really nice to have someone like this in my life full time. And I felt confident in my decision to ask Natalie to marry me. And we applied for the K1 visa.
He says that after 6 months of waiting for the visa to be processed, he went to the Ukraine, I think it was the Ukraine, to meet with her. And one thing that I found interesting about that is one of the qualifications for the K1 visa is you have to prove that you have met in person within 2 years of filing the visa. So maybe I missed it, but I didn't hear where they had ever met in person before filing the case.
How can I say I love you? We had so much fights. We don't
Hey, no worries.
agree
No,
on
you don't
anything.
have to explain yourself anymore.
But I have to keep your ring.
Ooh. She has not been able to bring herself to say that she loves Big Mike, and she also gave him the ring. This is a big fight that they're having, and I think it definitely undermines their case, which is based on the fact that they plan to get married within 90 days of arriving. Now it seems like things are headed for the rocks.
I got my visa.
You got your visa?
Yes,
Really?
I got it.
When she said, hey, I got the visa, I'm coming to the U.S., I had a ton of emotions in that moment, good and bad. We've both been looking forward to the visa this entire time. But we have problems, we have issues.
It has a deadline. So this visa, it lasts only for a certain time. And I have to be in US during 20 days.
20 days to come
Yes.
to come
I
here.
have to go to US in 20 days.
We have a lot of stuff that we need to work on. Communication, anger, jealousy, everything. I don't know how we're gonna work on those things. I'm not ready to get married right now, but she has to be here in 3 weeks. So it's either we do this or don't. We want to give it a go, and at least we say we tried. This is the Hail Mary. I mean, basically, you know.
The big news, Natalie got her visa. I guess it wouldn't be much of a show if she didn't get her visa approved. What would they have to talk about, right? This couple, Big Mike and Natalie, are having serious fights. The immigration process imposes deadlines. She has a deadline to come to the U.S. And then once she comes to the U.S., they only have 90 days to decide whether to get married. It's sort of like what it would be like if you were going to your wedding and you didn't decide whether you were getting married yet, and you had some ambivalence. So if you have any doubts about whether you're going to get married or not, it would be very uncomfortable to be in a fiancé visa situation.
Did you talk to Ziad about moving in here whenever he gets here? Yeah. What is he saying about it? He doesn't want to do it. Currently, I have an apartment, but the lease is coming up soon. I've just been so busy with work that I haven't found something for Ziad and I. Tiffany and Micah have space and offered to let us stay here with them. Plus, the process of bringing someone over on the K-1 visa, it's not cheap. So far, I probably have $15,000 or $20,000 invested. So, of course, living with Tiffany and Micah will help financially, but Ziad is not excited about that.
Rebecca says she spent $15,000 on the fiancé visa process. That's a lot of money. Maybe she's including her trips abroad and her time off work. I'm not sure how she's calculating it. It seems like a lot of money. The other thing that strikes me about what Rebecca's saying is she's proposing moving in with Ziad into moving in with her children temporarily to help make ends meet. And this is something that I see a lot in my immigration practice. I practice immigration law here in Los Angeles, and we also have an office in Boston. And these are two cities with astronomical housing costs. The cost of buying or owning a place to live is just very difficult. And so we see a lot of our clients who have roommates or who live with their parents, even though they're grown. This may not line up with a traditional way that you would see a marriage relationship where the husband and wife have a house on their own or live on their own, or they don't have roommates or family. But that's just the reality of life today in America, at least in some places.
We have some ongoing issues and stuff. She's very religious. I'm not religious.
And you're not. Okay.
And she wants me to become a vegan. Like,
Right? And you're like,
like,
our next
can we,
date.
can we just like cook like a vegan meal and I cook a steak on the side? You know, those things that she said though too. So I mean, that really bugged me at the end of the day.
What'd she say?
They asked her if she loved me and stuff, and she couldn't say anything.
She's about to move 3,000 miles away from home for you, but she can't say I love you. That would probably make me kind of mad too. I'm not gonna lie.
Big Mike and Natalie have some big differences. She wouldn't say that she loved him and he eats meat. She's a vegetarian. He's not religious. She is. They've got some real issues. But I have to say, I'm really find myself being drawn into the story, and I'm really identifying with Big Mike. He seems like a very genuine guy, and I find myself really rooting for him. I'm really getting into this show. As an immigration lawyer, what would I say to Big Mike when he approaches his relationship with Natalie? What would I tell Natalie? What would I tell the two of them? The answer is this. I would say, listen, the best time to make a decision about whether you're going to get married is before she comes to the U.S. Because maybe even before you apply, you're not in a good situation if you're still having major relationship issues after the visa's been issued. You're really too far in at this point. So it's a very unfortunate situation.
I don't know how I will feel when I arrive. I need to see it. I cannot tell you for now. Just one thing bothers me.
And what's that?
Where is Uncle Bo?
Uncle Bo is not here right now.
Oh, okay. Where is he?
He's in Seattle visiting his son.
But you know that I will not stay in the house with a stranger. I mean, I need my time with you like a travel time.
Bo is living at the house right now. I love Bo to death. He's family, you know, and I'm not gonna just kick Bo out on the street. Damn, 4 days. You ready?
Will you be nice to me?
Yeah, I'll be nice to you.
Promise?
Yeah, you're gonna be nice to me?
Yes.
Oh, Big Mike, no. You're hoping you can discover yourselves within the 90 days? 90 days is certainly not enough time to work out the major relationship problems that he has. As an immigration lawyer, based on my experience, I'm concerned. I truly am. The producer of the show asked Brandon what made him propose to Julia after only meeting her a couple of times, and he says that the visitor visa got denied and it was either that or walk away from the relationship. I think that is a choice that a lot of people make because he's completely correct. What else can you do? She can't get a visitor visa. He's not going to be able to go to visit her too often. So I think that he made the only decision that was reasonable. Either walk away from the relationship or move forward. What did I think of 90 Day Fiance? After watching season 8, episode 1, I can say that I'm a fan of this show. I really enjoyed it. I felt that the characters were totally compelling. The storylines were great. It wasn't the trashy reality TV show that I had expected. I was really drawn in. Jovi, Brandon, Mike, Rebecca. These are some really sympathetic people. I'm rooting for them. I like them. I want them to succeed. We haven't heard much from the foreign nationals because it looks like, at least from the first episode of the show, they're filming in the US. I'm hooked. I want to see what's going to happen. I'm going to be watching other episodes and I'll be doing some more reaction videos. Was this realistic in terms of what real couples going through the K-1 visa process face? I think in some ways it really is. A lot of the issues that international couples face are the ones presented in this show. The one thing that I found kind of weird about it is that, and again I said this at the beginning, whether or not you're going to get married to someone should not be a decision that you make within that 90-day period. You need to decide whether you're going to get married before you even file the paperwork. That's my take on 90 Day Fiance. What do you think of the show? What's your opinion of these couples and their legal struggles and their personal struggles? Leave your opinion in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have to think, and I'll see you in the next video.